Hi everyone, welcome back, and I hope you're doing well. I've done several videos demonstrating the quick one-knob compression VST plugins from various developers. Matter of fact, I've done recently a new one demonstrating the one-knob plugins in the Cakewalk by BandLab. I will leave a card and link in the description if you want to watch that one. And I've received several comments and also questions in forums and Facebook groups and so on, asking how does one-knob compression actually work? What's their ratio setting? What's their threshold setting? Attack and release times? So I decided to test them myself because I wanted to know as well. And during those testings, I found several issues with the Studio One native plugin, the channel strip, which is this one here, which includes a one-knob compressor. Now this channel strip is included in the Prime edition, which is the free version of PreSonus, and that's the only compressor you get, this one-knob compressor. So I thought I'll show you how the compressor dial works, what settings you get as you move the dial from minimum to the maximum, and what are the slow, medium, and fast dynamic settings do in regards to attack and release times. I have a test tone generator on one of my channels. So let's put that onto test tone. And it's giving out a signal of minus 12 dB as a sine wave at 4 kHz. And this signal is fed to my other channel where all my compressor plugins are inserted. And then the output of this goes to my last channel where I have my scopes and meters to see the results. So the test tone starts from here, goes through my plugins, compressors, and then we can see the results right here. So I'm sending a sine wave signal, test tone, at minus 12 dB. So we should be able to see at the level meter minus 12 dB. Let's turn it on. And sure enough, minus 12 dB. So signal part without any plugin from this channel to the scope is all level. Just want to make sure that it's all established. So now we can turn this off. Turn this off. And let's test threshold and the ratio of our channel strip. Let's turn the channel strip on. Let's open up our threshold meter. This should tell us the threshold and the ratio as the signal passes through the channel strip compressor. I've got everything else turned off. We're on slow, so let's find out. Of course, it's turned off, so we should not actually see any threshold or ratio, probably 1 to 1. Yep, 0, so can't detect it, obviously. So let's turn it on. I'm going to start with 1%. There we go. Let's allow it for a cycle to come through. One more cycle. So the ratio detected is 2 to 1. And the threshold is minus 5, maybe minus 6 dB. Minus 5 dB. Okay, so if you have a signal that goes above minus 5 dB threshold at 1% setting, you get 2 to 1 compression. So you get a little bit of compression. And let's increase that to 5%. I've already done the test. I know the results. I just want you to see how it's actually working. The ratio is still 2 to 1. So you cannot get any ratio any less than 2 to 1. Now the threshold is coming down to, I say, minus 5 to 5.83 or minus 6 dB. Okay, let's go to 10%. And let it cycle through twice. Okay, the ratio is still 2 to 1, but now the threshold is simply coming down to minus 7 dB. So for every 5%, we're getting 1 dB less threshold. So the threshold is lowering down. So to get some compression at 10%, your signal needs to go above minus 6 or minus 7 dB to get 2 to 1 ratio. That means to get any gain reduction, your signal needs to peak at virtually just under 0 dB. So 10% will not compress anything, because for every 6 dB, you get 3 dB reduction. I hope that calculation makes sense. That's what ratio 2 to 1 is. So let's go to, let's say 15%. And let's guess what the ratio would be and the threshold will be. Ready? The ratio is still 2 to 1, but now it's minus 7.83 or minus 8 dB threshold. So as you're going up with the compression setting, the ratio is still staying the same so far, but your threshold is dropping down. So any signal above 7.83 or 8 dB, I'm just going to round it down to minus 8 dB, start compressing it down. So really, you're not going to get any compression unless you have a signal that is already above minus 8 dB. Let's go to 20%. Now we've got minus 8.3 dB. So again, it's 1 dB. So minus 9 dB, you get 2 to 1 ratio. So you go above, let's say, 3 dB. So that means it's minus 3 dB, you get 2 to 1 ratio. That's how it will be compressing. Okay, let's go to 25%. Very common. Quarter of the way. And we're going to see some changes now. The ratio is now 2.5 to 1. And the threshold, again, still came down. I'm going to call it minus 10 dB. So for every 5%, our threshold is coming down by 1 dB. Let's go to 30%, and I'm going to move a little bit quicker after this one. Guess what the ratio is going to be? And the threshold is going to be? Yeah, a 3 to 1 ratio, and now it's minus 11 dB threshold. So as you are moving the compression knob higher and higher percentage, your threshold is dropping down so that lower signal are triggered to compress, as well as your ratio going up. So let's go to 50%. I'm just quickly going to go up to 50%. I'm just going to do a quick cycle. Yep, as you can see, even though it was halfway through the calculation, it already detected 5 to 1 ratio. And you've got the threshold, probably about minus 15 dB. Yep, minus 15 dB. So what does this mean? Let's go a little bit further. Let's go to 75%, and let's have a guess what that ratio is going to be. 7.5. So someone is not really creative. It's just very simple algorithmic maths calculation of where the compressor's percentage setting dial is, and it just adding that as a ratio. 75%, 7.5 to 1 ratio, and for every 5% on the dial, you're getting minus 1 dB threshold lower. So minus 20 dB. And let's go all full, 100%. Yep, I'm pretty sure you're going to guess it now. It's going to be 10 to 1 ratio. It says 9.98. That's only because I started halfway through the cycle. And our threshold will be minus 25 dB. So that's what the compressor dial is doing. That's how the algorithm is tested. So if you have lower signal, then you're going to turn the compressor dial further up so that the threshold goes below that signal that you want to compress. But at the same time, instead of having a 2-to-1 ratio compression, you are now having, let's say if we were doing 75% or 80%, 8-to-1 ratio. So it's slamming it down. So it's not a matter of just adjusting the level. So without knowing this threshold and the ratio settings, then you are simply just trying to use it to adjust a signal that will not really match. Because imagine if you want a gentle compression on your snare, or you want gentle compression on your vocals, and your vocal is recorded at minus 18 dB. So to compress anything, you need the threshold to be below minus 18 dB, let's say to minus 21 dB, and you are compressing, anything above 3 dB range. But it's going to be compressing hard because it's 8-to-1 ratio. So by knowing this, that means you need to do a clip gain adjustment to adjust the clip's gain into the compressor so that you have enough signal so that if you want a gentle compression, let's say 3-to-1 or 4-to-1, that's like 4-to-1, so your signal clip gain should have a peak at least minus 9 dB, because you'll only start compressing after minus 12 or 13 dB. I hope that is self-explanatory. If not, leave a comment and I'll try to explain further. By knowing what the dial is doing to the ratio, and you know what the threshold level is, now you know how to adjust your clip gain to get the best result. Whether you want low compression or high compression, then you need to adjust your clip gain, not the dial. Next, let's go and test the dynamic setting: slow, medium, and fast. Have you noticed something when I move my mouse, what it says? Slow, it says very fast dynamic speed. When our mouse is on the medium, it says medium dynamic speed. When mouse is on fast, it says slower dynamic speed. So which one is it? PreSonus? Is it fast or slow? When I click slow, it says very fast dynamic speed. Well, let's test and find out, shall we? I have my test tone generator generating attack and release times test, and this is my graph to measure attack and release times. My compressor is turned off, and I have the setting at, the button says slow, but the sort of hint message says very fast dynamic speed. So we'll find out which one is the correct one. Let's turn this up to, let's say, probably 8-to-1. There we go, 8-to-1 ratio. Okay, so we have an attack of 4.38 milliseconds and release of 189.75 milliseconds. And that's on slow. Let's find out what the medium one does. Okay, medium, it's just increased. Attack is now 9.13 milliseconds and release is 191 milliseconds. What about fast? Now fast has become 34 milliseconds and release of 245 milliseconds. I thought 4 milliseconds or so was faster than 9 milliseconds, which is faster than the 34 milliseconds. Maybe I don't know maths. Maybe I don't. You tell me. But according to these numbers, the buttons don't correspond. But the highlighted text does respond. It says very fast dynamic speed. You can see at the bottom. And if we go hover over the fast button, it says slower dynamic speed, which matches our result. So if you were using this compressor by simply just choosing slow for slow attack and release and fast for fast attack and release, then you were setting the attack and release times all wrong. Your eyes were tricking you, because unless you listen carefully, you probably go, why does it sound more snappy? My snare sounds more snappy when it's slow, but it sounds really boxy when I've got it on fast. I thought it should be the other way around. So now you confused yourself because people at PreSonus didn't sort of double check that their buttons have the wrong text on them. That's why we always say use your ears to adjust things and not what you see on the screen. And this is a great example. You go, I want nice thick vocals, so I'm going to put on slow to let lots of those transients come through. But matter of fact, you will be killing all those transients. You can actually see how the meter, all the transients, the peak, you can see the peak coming through, but they are all clamped down. But if I go to fast, which is in real terms slow, you can see those peaks come through. And for medium, it'll probably medium setting, depends on the test tone that's being sent. But going from 4 milliseconds of attack time, completely clamping it down to, I think it was 35 milliseconds attack time, allowing all these transients to come through. Well, I hope this video explains it to you, and now you know better how the one knob compressors work. Now, if you like me to make videos like this for the other compressors, especially the one from Waves, the one knob plugin, just a compressor, and as well as the one in Cakewalk by BandLab, there are a few other one knob compressors as well. Leave a comment below, give a like to this video, and I'll try to put some time to it in demonstrating each one in its own detailed video. And if this video was helpful, make sure you give me the like, share, and subscribe to my channel so you get to see all those new videos that I upload. Till next time, as always, thanks for watching and have a great time making music, and use your ears, not your eyes.